Hello everyone and welcome to my review for Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 132. This chapter is amazing. It's one of the best chapters in the series, I think. It's probably like top one Jujutsu moment, to be completely honest. Though, if you want to see my thoughts and feelings on this chapter in a little more detail, you should go check out my live reaction from earlier today. I was quite excited because this chapter is really the moment that we've been waiting so long for. I mean, really since the Junpei arc, is to see Mahito get put in his fucking place. And boy, has he been. So, as Yuji was planning, he uses Black Flash and just beats the shit out of Mahito. He uses one, but he sends him through a bunch of the street. I hadn't actually noticed that before. He doesn't just like punch him into the wall, he punches him like through the ground and out of the crater. He beats the dog shit out of Mahito. And Mahito, for the first time ever, is absolutely terrified of Yuji. He's been beaten out of instant spirit body of distorted killing. He doesn't have any transfigured humans left. He is completely helpless before Yuji. Now, this fight, I think, especially the last two chapters, really showcase why I like the power system in Jujutsu so much, in that Mahito is way more powerful than Yuji. Like, there's no question about it. However, Yuji is pretty much a perfect counter to Mahito. Mahito is not able to use Idle Transfiguration or his domain expansion on Yuji, and that's really mostly what makes Mahito so dangerous. All of his attacks are basically like one-hit kills to most people, and they just don't work on Yuji, so he has to resort to physical combat with him. Yuji, fortunately for him, is a freak of nature when it comes to physical strength and is just really good at slugging it out with people. So, because of the fact that Yuji is just a natural counter to Mahito, he is able to beat him despite being nowhere near as powerful as him. We also got a great, just absolutely fantastic moment from Todo here, where he fakes us out again. He fakes us out with Boogie Woogie. We think he can still do it with the stump, but he can't. He says his technique is dead. But the active applause being an acclamation of the soul, and the arm merely being a decoration. That is like totally a Hunter x Hunter reference, you know? I don't need a hand to pray. Prayer is an action of the heart. I haven't even read or watched Hunter x Hunter, but I mean, that's such a famous scene. How could I have not known about that? So, Todo doesn't even do very much this chapter, but we get an amazing Todo moment out of it. And he distracts Mahito long enough for Yuji to go in and do his attack. I had thought about this. Instant Spirit Body of Distorted Killing looks a lot like Hanami. I'd say it looks more like Hanami than any of the other disaster spirits. And the fight against Hanami is really good. It's one of the best fights in the series. So, it just so happens. It seems like anyone that looks like Hanami ends up having a top-tier fight against Yuji and Todo. And much like in that fight, Todo fakes Mahito out. If you recall, in the fight against Hanami, Todo explains how his technique works, how he has to clap his hands to switch places with something, and then fakes him out, because just because Todo is clapping his hands doesn't mean he's going to switch with someone. So that's awesome. Todo showing up at the very last moment just to make sure that Yuji has the opening to do Black Flash. The speech that Yuji gives Mahito after pretty much, I guess, beating him. I'd say Mahito is beaten at this point, pretty much. Physically, at least. Yuji acknowledges that I'm like you. I wanted to reject you, convince myself that you were wrong, but that doesn't matter now. I'm gonna kill you. Even if you come back as another curse, I'll kill you. Change your name, change your form, I'll kill you again. I don't need to find meaning or a reason. Maybe 100 years after my death, the meaning behind my actions will become apparent. In the grand scheme of things, I'm probably nothing more than a cog. But I'll keep killing curses for as long as I can. That's my role in all this. So, first off, this is a callback to I guess chapter 126, where Mahito says, if you can't accept the fact that you and I are the same, you're never going to be able to beat me. So, with realizing that, Yuji's able to beat Mahito. Isn't that fantastic? And the other thing is that this really does feel like the culmination of what the Shibuya arc has kind of all been about. It's about Yuji finding and accepting his role as a Jujutsu sorcerer, which is kind of depressing, just being a cog in a giant machine. But, I mean, that's just the way the Jujutsu world works for now. And for now, Yuji is a cog in the machine. But I feel like with what's going to happen after the Shibuya incident, the probable schism in Jujutsu society, whether or not to kill Yuji immediately, whatever happens with Gojo, I think at this rate, Gojo's not going to be unsealed anytime soon. He's going to be gone for a while. And that's just kind of necessary for things to happen. It's like All Might's retirement in My Hero. That needed to happen in order for things to get crazier. After Shibuya, and with things getting crazy, Yuji may no longer be a cog in the machine, and the functions of the Jujutsu world may not be as, like, cold and heartless as they seem to be now. But for the time being, Yuji has accepted his role in the way things are. And I think the way that Yuji says, no matter how many times you come back, I'm just going to keep killing you. That really is like the acknowledgement that Mahito is a curse for Yuji. Much like how Sukuna is like a curse residing within his body, and maybe the thing that Yuji's grandpa told him, watch... Oh god, what's the name of his YouTube channel? Steady Studios, the translator. He did a video talking about the quote-unquote memory manipulation. That may be a curse. And the thing with a curse is that it doesn't really go away, and you just kind of have to deal with it. So, in this, Yuji's basically like, yeah, you are a curse for me, and I'm just going to keep fighting you every time I have to deal with you. But I'm just going to keep killing you. Like, it's whatever. You can come back as many times as you want, and I'm just going to kill you again and again and again, as many times as I have to. And I think with this, we really have, like, the moral, ideological defeat for Mahito. He's already been physically defeated. He's out of cursed energy. He doesn't have any more transfigured humans. And now Yuji has, like, mentally, ideologically overcome him. Mahito is fucking terrified. Like, his eyes are widened. He looks like he's, like, screaming or panting and trying to crawl away from him because he can't even get back up on his feet. And the symbolism we have here with the wolf chasing after a rabbit, a hunter chasing after its prey, that's some pretty profound stuff. That's probably one of the highlights of my reaction. You should definitely go check that out. For a long time, Mahito has been trying to upend the whole idea of, yeah, you Jujutsu sorcerers just come around like exterminators and exercise curses like it's nothing. And Mahito has sort of flipped the script on a lot of the Jujutsu sorcerers, and that he's just like this unstoppable force of nature that just kills everyone. So for a long time, Mahito has been the hunter, but now the hunter has become the hunted. The hunter has become the prey. And just seeing the way Yuji is, like, looking down on him and slowly walking after him, at least in these very first few panels on this spread, oh, it's just so good. It's so satisfying to see Mahito down in the dirt like this. You love to see it. I know I do. So he's finally getting his just desserts. I don't think Mahito's stocks have gone way down. The Mahito stock market has crashed. He's trash. He's fucking garbage. Eat shit, you fucking loser. This is what happens when you kill everyone. This is what happens when you're responsible for almost all of the character deaths in the series, bitch. Get owned. Now, of course, we definitely have to talk about Imposter Ghetto showing up. The black wolf with its glowing eyes showing up. A new beast. Another predator showing up to devour this rabbit. To steal Yuji's prey. We have to wonder, what is Imposter Ghetto going to do here? Well, we also have to wonder what happened with his fight with Mei Mei. And there are two possibilities to that. A few other people have brought him up to me. Is Imposter Ghetto going to save Mahito? Maybe. It's a possibility. He says, shall I save you, Mahito? Like it's a question. I bet, oh god, if Mahito grovels, if he starts begging for his life, if he begs Imposter Ghetto on his hands and knees to save him from Yuji, oh my god! Oh, that would be so amazing. I hope that happens. God, that would be tremendous. But he may not. And Imposter Ghetto does have, like, this dark aura coming up from above him, so maybe he doesn't need Mahito anymore. Although Mahito is super useful. Basically, Yuji is the only person that can kill him, theoretically. I mean, maybe other people that can weaponize Simple Domain. And obviously Gojo, just because he just destroys your brain and you die. That he doesn't have to affect the soul to do that. Yeah, Immeasurable Void would kill Mahito. Mahito is still super useful. He's an extremely dangerous curse. So, Imposter Ghetto would probably get a lot of use out of turning him into one of his Pokemon. So, I have a feeling it's more likely than not that he is going to, I don't know, slurp him up. And Mahito will go away for a while and come back later on. Maybe to use Instant Spirit Body of Distorted Killing at full power, because he was getting beaten on for the fight prior to doing the transformation. So he wasn't at full power when he used it. And he also wasn't able to use his curse technique while in that form. So maybe he's able to do even crazier shit, unless that form is just supposed to be a buff to his physical abilities. Yeah. But I think Mahito's probably going to be out of the story for a while. If he doesn't die here. I mean, I hope he does. Because fuck Mahito. Like, if Ghetto's just like, nah, and Yuji just, like, stomps through his chest or something, or just blows his head off with Divergent Fist, that would be so good. I would enjoy that immensely. Now, Imposter Ghetto is here. That means that the fight with Mei Mei and Yu is over. And it means that they probably definitely did not win. But how did they not win? Did Imposter Ghetto kill them, or did he buy Mei Mei off? Because Mei Mei has admitted that, like, she goes to the highest bidder. So Imposter Ghetto may have just been like, I will give you a shitload of money if you just leave me alone. And Mei Mei may have gone alone. I don't know if Mei Mei would team up with him. I don't think Mei Mei would do that. I mean, I would imagine that the combined Jujutsu Society has more money than Imposter Ghetto's cult. But maybe it's just like a, yeah, like, this is way more money than they're offering me for this mission, so sure, whatever, I'll just let you go. Or alternatively, Imposter Ghetto really did no-diff them. Like, they just didn't even lay a finger on him, and he just wiped them both. I don't know how likely that is, because the Crow Strike thing that Mei Mei does is clearly super strong if the only person that survived it is Gojo. Basically, the whole deal with comparing things to Gojo, like with Naobito being the fastest sorcerer alive, excluding Satoru Gojo, is the idea that, yes, Gojo is the best at everything, so everyone else is the second best. But when we say, oh, everyone but Gojo, we mean no one but Gojo can handle these people and whatever they can do. So no one else can handle Naobito's speed when he's at 100%, and no one can avoid Bird Strike. Presumably. Maybe Ghetto could do it. I mean, Ghetto could probably just throw a bunch of curses in front of himself to defend against Bird Strike. But we'll have to see. I think we're not going to have a fight. It does seem like we could actually end the Shibuya incident on part 50 right now. Like, Ghetto's just like, hey, Mahito, see you around, Itadori, and then just leaves, and that could be the end. We'll maybe see what happened with some of the people that have been missing for a while. Maybe we'll see what happened to Mei Mei and Yu, where are Panda and Kusakabe, things like that. And that'll just be the end of the arc. If there is any sort of scuffle with Imposter Ghetto, I feel like it's going to be when Ichigo tried to fight Aizen after beating Byakuya. So this fight is like Ichigo versus Byakuya, how it's like the climax of Soul Society. Ichigo basically beats Byakuya, kind of, though this doesn't have as much ass-pulling as that fight. Not to shit on Bleach. And then the real main villain shows up, just sort of dunks on the main character, and then dips. That'll probably be what happens. It does seem like Imposter Ghetto is endgame. Like, he's the main villain, which we've kind of figured for a while. You know, if he is Noritoshi Kamo, the original Noritoshi Kamo, the most evil sorcerer in history, I mean, who else could you have for the main antagonist other than someone who's been known for centuries as the most evil magic man ever? That seems to work pretty well. So, with that, that's really all I have to say about this chapter. if, like, after the initial reaction, I don't have too much else to say about it. I think I sort of organized my thoughts in the couple hours since, but once again, if you do want to see my initial reaction to this chapter, you should go check out my live reaction. I'm going to talk about this week's anime episode a little bit. It was pretty good. I noticed the pacing was kind of slow. Like, not very much happened this episode, though. If they're maintaining that 2.5 chapter pace, I guess that works, because this part of the arc is, like, pretty back and forth between just talking to Junpei and Nanami fighting Mahito. But we're going into overtime now. We're going to see ratio technique collapse. Nanami dip. Oh, I guess we'll see Ino next chapter or next episode. That'll be cool. Let's see if next week we're going to be introduced to Junpei's mom, and she's probably going to die that episode. And that would mean the week after we get the fight with Junpei in the school, start of the fight against Mahito. So, it looks like this arc will last like another 3 weeks or so, which translates into like another 4 episodes. And then probably the rest of the season is going to be Goodwill events. So that's looking pretty solid to me. I'm very excited to see that, the high school fight against Mahito. And of course, the Nanami backstory. One of my favorite moments in the series. It's just so great. And it seems like a lot of people already really like Nanami, so I'm sure they'll like him even more after that. But with that, that's all I have to say for this week's video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. I do Jujutsu Kaisen chapter reviews and reactions every week. So if you're interested in those, you should subscribe so you don't miss any of them. If you enjoy other series such as Record of Ragnarok, Chainsaw Man, and Kengan Omega, I do videos on those series as well. So if you're interested in those, you should definitely check out my channel. My current subscriber milestone goal is to hit 1,000 by the end of the year. And with how much my sub gain has increased over the last month, that seems pretty doable. So subscribe, help us reach that goal, and I'm sure you won't regret it. If you enjoy discussing Jujutsu Kaisen with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce on this channel, I highly suggest you check out my Discord server. I have a link to it on my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.